oversimplification of the situation in Uganda, the search for Joseph Kony, could actually create more complications down the road.
Okay, well, let's bring Douglas in here. Douglas, you've seen it as well, I gather.
Yes, I watched the film yesterday. Similar in a way. I mean, of course it simplifies, and a 29-minute film is going to simplify any situation. I mean, the first thing is it's very upsetting, very harrowing in places. The interviews with the boy Jacob, particularly at one point when he starts crying, is very harrowing, I have to say, and nobody could but be moved by it. But in a way, that's the problem. That's the issue that comes up with this, and with all discussions around this subject, and it comes back to the discussion we had earlier about Syria as well, is that in all of these issues, all of these foreign policy nightmares that the world consistently faces and will go on facing, people have to decide between what is a rational and necessary course of action and what is a something must be done impulse. And increasingly, social media encourages this. No, it doesn't need to be a bad thing, but social media encourages the something must be done syndrome. We must go in and stop this, or we must go in and get this person must be brought to justice, or this person must be captured. And the reality is always far more complex than that. I mean, the International Criminal Court itself has all sorts of problems with it, and for it to be produced as the panacea as it is in this documentary itself is a problem. So well, I can't help but feeling conflicted.
Okay, well, as you two are agreeing, I think I'm going to have to be the opposite end of the spectrum. Let me read you something from a blog written by Anne Penketh for The Independent today. She says, but for me, this video performed a valuable public service in persuading Americans to be interested in foreign policy. Hats off, she says, to Invisible Children for telling Americans about Joseph Kony.
Oh yes, that's certainly true. There's certainly an educational aspect to this. People haven't mentioned Joseph Kony in this number for
and he was
a
bad man.
Absolutely.
But I think we ignore the fact
that
on the other end, you know, you have a government, you know, Museveni, that just essentially changed the constitution to run for a fourth term, that has a military that's Human Rights Watch and others have reports on the violations against their own people in Uganda and also across the border against women in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. So, you know, the video causes harm because it looks for this good guy, bad guy scenario, which doesn't exist.
Yeah, I mean, it could do harm, but it does good in the meantime because it educates people about a horrific thing that happened, which most people in the world have now forgotten about. So it raises awareness of that. The damage would be if it then led people to believe that there was a simple answer to a terrible problem.
Amira,
there's a simple reality. You know, the United States has not signed on to the International Criminal Court
for very good reasons.
If all of this momentum, 40 million people, could encourage their government to sign on to ratify the International Criminal Court to help build norms for accountability,
but Amira,
then you engage people in a way that actually creates stability for.
But Amira, that is a very simple solution to a very complex problem. The ICC, there are very good reasons why America doesn't want to sign up to it, because the ICC itself brings along problems. It itself is not by any means a form of international justice of the kind that it says it can provide.
The issue is, how do you get at accountability? Do you look at a military solution to essentially to kill or apprehend one person?
There is no single solution. There is no single solution. There is never a single solution. There are legal solutions to some problems. There are military solutions to other problems. But anyone who thinks that it's straightforward and there's one court or one avenue that you go down is, I'm afraid, simplifying it.
You have to build rules of the road. You have to build international norms that bring accountability, that bring justice across the board.
Thank you, Amira. That's great. Well, obviously, we could go on this subject, and certainly it's the subject that everybody I've met in the streets has been talking about. So do write in and tell us about that. World, have your say at bbc.co.uk.